Hey everybody, welcome back to Philosophy and Coffee. Today I'm going to be talking about film Mother, released in 2017, directed by Darren Aronofsky. Darren Aronofsky is known for pictures such as Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, and Noah. And today we're going to be discussing the religious and the philosophical allegories in the film Mother, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. Hope you enjoy. For those of you who do not know, Mother is a psychological horror film, and no one's actually referenced by name throughout the entire movie. Their character names are based on the roles they play, such as Jennifer Lawrence played by Mother, and Javier Bardem's character is portrayed by him. Him is an author, knows the creator, and he's in a writer's block moment as they currently moved into a new house, and Mother is getting the house ready and making it look nice in the garden and throughout the house renovations. But they keep getting interrupted by unexpected visitors, and as the visitors begin to slowly destroy the house, Mother is neglected by him, as him is an admiration of these people. Where Mother's being neglected, him is more empathetic and understanding of these people and what they go through, which eventually leads Mother to get pregnant by him. As the people kill her baby, Mother decides to destroy the house once and for all, and him then, in a confusing metaphor, recreates the house and starts the cycle all over again. That's summary of Mother. So Mother obviously represents Mother Nature, or Gaia in the Greek mythological sense, and she is nature and the earth as its whole, as the house also represents her. Him represents the creator or a godlike figure, or even in a Gnosticism, which we'll talk about later, he is the demiurge in portrayal. The first couple that shows up at the house is a man and a woman, and they represent Adam and Eve as they destroy the house. They have two kids. One brother ends up killing the other brother, which is very similar to the Cain and Abel story in Judeo-Christian theological texts. As Mother gets pregnant later on, her child represents a Messiah-like figure, or Jesus, as he dies, and she is immediately grief-stricken with anger, and him wants to forgive the people who did it and believes that the baby can actually change people, and it's kind of a cooperation between God and humanity. Those are the different character allegories of Mother. A big part of it also plays in Gnosticism, which was also reflected in Aronofsky's biblical epic Noah, which details Noah's Ark. Now in Mother, Gnosticism is portrayed as blind faith over knowledge and secrets. Gnosticism believes, in a form of Christianity almost, that the divine secrets and divine knowledge of one's creates salvation rather than blind faith on a creator God. In Mother, the people that keep coming into this house that are obsessed with the writer and his poetry, they have a blind faith toward Javier Bardem's character, and in result of that blind faith, destruction and violence occur and monstrous atrocities throughout the house. So in a way, Aronofsky is trying to poetically say that blind faith can cause havoc and wreckage among different religious denominations and non-religious people, rather than knowledge and the secrets of one's own divine understanding. As more Gen Z culture creates environmental awareness throughout their cultural upbringing, Mother also details environmental wellness in the way that we keep destroying Mother Nature, neglecting the earth. Now, the philosophical or religious allegory in that is, does God forgive all of that, knowing that we are neglecting Mother Nature at the same time as portrayed in the film? Now, obviously, as him neglects his earth in support of the creation, the people that he's in admiration of. This goes back to the cyclical relevance of Mother. Going back to Gnosticism, Gnostics believe that there is one true creator. However, our world was created by what's known as a demiurge, which is not the true God, and it's allowed some hatred and destruction to ravage the earth. Now, in Mother, it could be interpreted that Javier Bardem's character is selfish and materialistic, as he's neglecting his wife in terms of more appreciation for the people involved in the house. However, Mother, in her own way, is actually clinging to material objects in the house and her house as a whole, which causes suffering for not only her character, but for her pregnancy and future baby as well. Because that almost goes back to the Buddhist belief of non-attachment and detachment, of how, which is also reflected in a similar Aronofsky film called The Fountain. As noted earlier, the ending of Mother portrays Mother destroying her house as him recreates not only her but the house as well, and it just keeps on spinning. This reflects the philosophical notion of how there was no actually beginning to the universe as we know it. If it goes back to the Big Bang is one of infinite, as our world just keeps creating and destroying itself, implied in Mother, until God decides we get it right, or in a way that it just keeps on going. Now, Gnosticism believes that the world will keep on going until humans find their own divine spark within, versus Christianity, where obviously they not only attain salvation through the relationship with the personal creator God, but Jesus will come back as the result of a new earth and a new heaven, which could also be reflective of in Mother, as Javier Bardem recreates the house in hopefully a more positive upbringing the second time around, or infinite times around, probably. Going back to the biblical allegories in Mother, as Mother's baby is born about halfway through the film, or 3/4 in, and the people end up wanting to touch it. They want to touch it because it's part of him. It is part of, hopefully, the new future of humanity as we know it. They end up killing it, and Mother is immediately ravaged with anger, as Javier Bardem's character him wants to forgive. Now, this could be reflective of the Jesus Christ allegorical figure in the New Testament of the Bible, where God's sacrifice for the atonement of sins of Jesus on the cross is what it took to forgive all of our sins and to also change us as a whole. However, as noted in history, the death of Jesus has actually caused numerous different political and religious strife and violence as a result of that. But it goes back to the question of, if Jesus had a sacrifice on a cross and Mother's baby was a sacrifice, did that need to happen in order for humans to overcome the idea of forgiveness and to transcend the idea of forgiveness in order to actually be changed, as the world was very different before and it's very different after? I mean, most historians believe that Christ's execution on the cross is one of the most important events in history. But as Javier Bardem quotes in the film, we must find a way to forgive the people who did this to our child, as this could change them. We can't let him die for nothing, as he says. Just to illustrate my idea on what I just talked about with the character of the baby in Mother, I want to show you the scene where, not after they kill the baby, Javier Bardem and Jeff Lawrence's reaction to the baby's death is. I hope you enjoy.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You're killing me. You killed him. You killed him.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They just want to see him. They just want to touch it. And then they... It's horrible. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But we can't let him die for nothing. We can't. Maybe what happened could change everything. Everyone.
What are you talking about?
We have to find a way to forgive them.
He butchered our son.
I know.
You're insane.
Listen to me.
You're insane.
Listen to me. They are so sorry. They are truly sorry. Listen, have faith in me. Please. We need to forgive them. Please. We have to.
Another philosophical conversation I want to have is toward the end, is the house is destroyed in Mother, And Jennifer Lawrence is in awe, but also confusion as to what Javier Bardem is, because the house blows up, but Javier Bardem is not touched at all by the flame or by any burns. And she asks, "What are you?" And he says, "I am I." When she says, "Was I not enough?" he says, "Well, nothing's enough. I couldn't create if it was enough, and that's what I do." So the philosophical allegory of that is, does God have to create over and over again in order to be sufficient, to be enough, to be God in itself? Because without creation, is God still there? Now, I know in some non-theistic traditions such as Buddhism, there was no creator God. There is no creator God anyway. And because there's no creator God, the world's always been here. But is it still possible without creation for God to still be here? As God has no beginning or end himself, what created God? And if all he is I am the I am, there is no beginning or end, even though in the Greek translation of the Bible, the Alpha and the Omega, which is the first and last letter of the Greek alphabet, as God likes to reference himself. There is no beginning or end, but however, God is also the beginning and end because he's outside of existence itself. But it does go back to the question of, does God need to keep creating and creating, and because that's what God is? Or is that something that's just part of the nature of existence in itself? To illustrate my point of what Javier Bardem's character him is, I want to show you the clip I was just talking about of how he is not burned after the house blows up, and Jennifer Lawrence's reaction and the conversation between the spiritual and the humane as they're detailed between husband and wife, him and mother, toward the end of the film Mother. Hope you enjoy.
What are you?
Me? I am I. You. You were home.
Where are you taking me?
The beginning. It won't hurt much longer.
What hurts me the most is that I wasn't enough.
It's not your fault. Nothing is ever enough. I couldn't create if it was. And I have to. That's what I do. That's what I am. Now I must try it all again.
No. Just let me go.
I need one last thing.
I have nothing left to give.
Your love. It's still there, isn't it?
Another big part I want to talk about of Mother is the idea of forgiveness as portrayed by him versus Mother. Now, as the people keep ravaging and destroying and ruining everything the house is, of course Mother gets upset with them. And she's quick to anger, quick to judgment, because it's her home. It's also her body. And Javier Bardem keeps forgiving. He keeps saying, this is everyone's house, and of course, this was made for you. And even when the brothers who represent Cain and Abel, one kills the other brother, and the parents are crying, which is Adam and Eve, and says, well, pray for the one who died. And him says, no, we pray for both, because there's one still lost in the wilderness. Now, obviously the philosophical is that God keeps, the religious theological, where God keeps forgiving and forgiving over and over again, and humans are not worthy of his forgiveness. However, it took the baby, Jesus, in a way, to die, as of course the world is not going to forgive in a way, because the world can't come back. It just keeps getting more polluted. However, if someone believes in some sort of higher power, whether it's God, you can have a personal God that keeps forgiving over and over again. Now, whether or not that's true, humans have many religious interpretations of the philosophy of personal God and personal Jesus. But I think the idea of forgiveness in Mother is that God needs that forgiveness to keep creating, and without that, he wouldn't be able to move on and start anew over and over again, and also purify and renew the earth as he's created. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed my philosophical and religious analysis of Darren Aronofsky's directed film Mother. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them, or any suggestions on what film I should analyze next in a philosophical and religious context. Thanks, hope you enjoy, and have a good week for philosophy and coffee. Thank you.